Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. And I'm back with Raid Shadow Legends. And this time I have quite the story to tell, actually. And this is mainly to do with the Oella event. And to be honest, I didn't just dedicate a small amount of resources, I dedicated what would be considered a massive amount of resources. I dedicated this is for free to play within the period that we were notified that the event was coming. This is what it really means to a free to play player. Obviously, if you are a more experienced player, you're reaching 4 or 5 years, you've got your first 2 or 3 legendaries, your teams are built and can now hit completely end game. There's nothing that's too difficult for you. It's a different story. But here's something that I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to show you the count of my epics. And I actually realized what's the count of my epics to the count of my ancient shards. In terms of void, I'm nowhere near a mercy, right? That's just the reality behind it. In terms of ancient shards, they are the majority that actually gave me my epics. So yeah, that's a sad one, and I'm actually about to reach the higher percentage chances of drawing a legendary from sacred shards in this next draw that I have. So I'm going to look at it and I'm going to tell you how difficult that Oella event is, and I'm going to rate it out of the ability to play based on your account. If you cannot play it with 10-hour a day dedication and actually conquer it, then it is in the high difficulty class of operations. And in the high difficulty class of operations, you even get a more difficult section when you're counting everything in this manner, which is actually when you say that things are impossible. Impossible tasks are tasks that are tasked to you that require more than the amount of time within the allocated period to complete. So yeah, let's go into it, and I'm even going to show the all 10 event and why this isn't really fair to players. Considering my time in the game and the number of champions that I could have and the amount of uh, heroes at my disposal, all of this will play a big part, and I will actually explain why I'm being placed against higher tier players than I should be tiered against. Remember, your time in the game makes a big difference on some of the events. Playing in Classic Arena, if you're going to match a top tier um, player versus someone like me, they're gonna beat me. There is no joke against it if they're inside the same league as me. They can pop in 40, 40, 40, 40 on the gems every single time, refill, and just smash through every single one of those competitions and do 40 clears of a dungeon. Now, let me just get out of here. I've got 6 hours till to refresh. Remember, I live in South Africa, so I have power outages. My perfection on getting that thing perfectly set every single time is not going to happen. So yeah, here we go with looking at competitions. You can see the day that this is set on. Now, a lot of people complained about the Oella event, and I'm going to even give a harsher criticism than what has already been given. You can see that there are 3 out already, right? Tag Team Arena wasn't part of it. Ice Golem Tournament. How far did I get? Now, you have to understand that I dedicated almost 720 resources to this. This isn't a regular amount. This is a total of a free to plays, 1 week or 2 week plays, or the period in between events. Now, looking at the top of this here, we have somebody with 6,100. I only made it up 3 reward categories at 1,230 in the period of this tournament. What does that say about this year? That says that this tournament was way more difficult than it needed to be. And it gets even more interesting because while the Ice Golem was on, we also had Champion Chase. Now, this required you to actually blow through shards. And I did blow through a significant amount of ancient shards. I did 11 to actually reach where I am. And as you can see, ranking it, I only got 816 versus people who had 10,000. This means that I was misappropriated or put against people who can have way more than me. Remember, this is times 10. That is 100. These are people within my class. This is outside of my class, right? You counting it even with ancients and voids, even if a person is saving in the start of the game, you're not going to really be able to compete. Now, I wanted to get to 10,000 and get the legendary book, but that's definitely not going to happen for me. Looking at my score, 6,626. Required 34,000. Jubal Kids. If I'm correct, it's a pay to win player. And here's another one of these. They've matched me up a free to play with a pay to win more than likely on the top here. Considering that the amount of shards required just to get to that level and the amount of spend required to get there, you'd have to be an experienced player with more than 6 months to beat this type of a score. These scores are within my range to actually achieve. I know I can reach 18,000 grinding full non-stop 24 hours for 5 days. I would have made it there. But where I am is basically the limit of my ability right now with time limits. So yeah, this is a fair position for me to be in. This would be the position I would ideally have been able to achieve, but I'm not going to achieve it. I actually want to fall down one rank and get the gems, but I doubt that this person is going to push enough to make a difference. The reason is 80 gems will actually help me get more ancient shards, but I want to get the ancient shards as well. And I am going to get them. That isn't really a problem. Now, looking at my base, if anybody knew about this here, I had 200 shards, 200 ascensions altogether across this entire period makes a big difference. I had a total of 10 ancient shards on Saturday during the summon rush, which is what gave me my points in summon rush. And I got nothing but rares. So yeah, that is really unfair. And in general, in a week, I will get 10 ancients. And if I don't get 10 ancients, I will spend money to receive ancients. I'm just going to have a quick look at the clan rewards. Yeah, I'm tier 1 or tier 2. So yeah, looking at the clan rewards, there's an ancient at the end at 600,000. If I'm going tier 2, which is a possibility for the clan that I'm in, I'm looking at 3 ancients from this entire gathering, right? So this is where I'm gathering some of it from, and I'm gathering quite a bit from the dungeons. Now, a lot of the videos that came out from other content creators outline the ability for you to earn these items, and it doesn't really work out perfectly well for me. And that's the whole thing behind all of this. They're not perfectly set for you to get them one after the other, and it's just such a heavy task for me to have to. Sorry about this. Just give me a second. An important mail that I have to answer immediately. Okay, so a lot of the content creators did cover most of this, and the fact that this Oella fusion was ridiculously outclassed for where it is. And thinking about the rest of it, as I said, some of those figures are in the obscene figures just for you to take part in them. And then we have this classic arena takedown, right? This is one of the only events where I can actually compete to get any type of item. Once again, I'm placed into a group which is way above me. As I said, if you put me against a group that has way more ability, I'm not going to be able to exceed my limits. Along with this here was also a very odd um, placing of these events. They one after the other after the other. At maximum, you're going to get one free additional energy per 2 days. So every 2 days, you're going to get one. So you can count that as 130 for the maximum amount of energy. And you're going to get two per day, right? Two refreshes, but no, wait, sorry, you can get three. Refreshes. So 3 refreshes per day is 390. So 390 times 2, you're only getting 800 and something across that entire period, plus the additional 130 added in there. So you're somewhere around the 900 mark on power. You require about 2000 to 3000 to actually reach these types of levels. That means that they intentionally put the ability for you to complete these tasks outside of the ability for you to complete the tasks. And yeah, they match made you with all the highest level players that you could possibly face. They didn't match make you against free to play with free to plays, because that would be a way different scenario. They made end game enter into end game, instead of time play versus time play, which would make a big difference for these tournaments. And it would make a big difference if it's free to play versus pay to win, with a massive advantage, like a mercy on the number of champions required. Like if they were giving away four epic champions, that would mean that the pay to wins wouldn't be pushing as heavy against the free to plays, making the game less despondent at this region. So this event is definitely not meant for us free to plays. If you were doing this tournament, overall you would need, this is just me working it out in my head, to work out how much worth of gems you'd require to be able to pass these tests of massive spend. To be able to pass that first summon rush, you're going to need around, uh, let's see, you get one void every month guaranteed. You could get lucky on the voids and get it out of your clan boss if your clan is really high, which is a really high end player. So in order to pass summon rush, and then I'll get to the dungeons individually, which is another crazy one. 900 times 20. You need 9,000 gems if you wanted to pass it, just with the gem count alone, and that's praying that your summon rush gives you what you're looking for in terms of champions. Remember, summon rush gives you points on champions earned, and I've seen even big players complaining with over 200 void shards. So you'd have to be very close to mercy and hope that you get that big hits two in a row instead of just getting that small little filter in. You'd need about 30 to 40 sacred shards saved up just for you to also get the same result. So 30 or 40 sacred shards with that 200 for safety, and another 200 void shards. Considering that they are approximately, let's say, 5 to a month, that will mean every 2 months you get 10. That would mean in 4 months you get 20. So round about 2 years. You require to have been saving up shards for around about 2 years. Plus, you would have to have spent the same amount, so 4 years. So you'd have to be a 4-year player to be able to take part in the summon rushes without having to have to worry about losing out on rewards. Right? If you just want to get to the end of these events, you're looking at about just the 900 shards. So yeah, that's a way less counter on that situation. So yeah, it isn't as heavy. 900, not 900, sorry, 9,000. You're looking at a possibility of, I'm trying to figure out my own spend. 9 months. So a 9-month saving of gems would get you to that point. But just hold on, there's more. So moving back out of the section and getting to the next part of it is chasing after the tournaments. To chase after those tournaments, you can save up a lot of those 100-day energy pile-ups and hope that your clan pulls you up enough for you to be able to win in most of these tournaments. So let's work out how much you require from that point of view. Okay, so you're at 890, you need about another 130, so another 10. That's 400 gems per event. Oh, 400 gems per event, yeah, basically, unless they overlap, and if they overlap, you're finished. Then you'd require an addition to that there. So 400, 800, 1,200, so that's another month, 10 months to be able to complete the 3 main dungeons which they're going to run you through. Wait, sorry, there's 4. They're going to give a spider tournament as well with this year. So that is 1,600. So give it 11 months. Then on top of that, there's a second summon rush at the end of this year. So you're going to need 1 year, 8 months. And then we're going to continue on with the rest of those events, like the champion chase and upgrade, which is also going to require a massive amount of farming. There's the artifact upgrade that you're going to have completed, which is another nightmare to actually think about the requirement. Oh, there's only this right now. The artifact upgrade that was in there, which was another ridiculously expensive event. It cost me somewhere near 6.5 million to make it halfway through. I didn't get the champion from there. I did earn this champion. So yeah, working out all of this, you're looking at round about 2 years worth of free to play in order to gain everything. Yes, there are ways for you to excel it. Like, for example, if those chase tournaments were in the middle of a clan v clan and you had a maxed out level clan, it's easy for you. If you're a starter with the way that these results were, you didn't stand a chance. I guarantee you that we're going to see a lot of the other content creators in the free to play series didn't even make it to 3 or 4 champions. I'm actually going to go and look at them and see if they managed to do it. If they managed to do it, then you definitely did have an appropriate power level gauge. If they didn't manage to do it, then they had an inappropriate power level gauge, and they set up the tournament groups that the pay to wins felt a little bit better for the winning. Now, obviously, this is also partially biased by free to play players such as myself, who will never ever spend a cent in a game. We do bring draw to a game, and that's about our only value. So we aren't really all that valuable, and I understand why a company wouldn't really support us being there. But a lot of us give a lot of support to content creators, so we do create a drawback to these games. So overall, that's all that I have to say against the tournament. What I have to say against the heavy flow that I've gone through. I hope that you all had a very good flow through this tournament and didn't go through as hard a time as I'm expressing right now for this actual tournament. I hope that most of you didn't try to chase, and I hope that you have a very good CVC with great wins coming ahead. So catch you all in the next one. Have a good day.